Okay, let's start this webinar. Welcome everyone. Welcome to those of you who are watching it in live and also who, if you are watching it later. This is Zenitech Future Technology Zenitalk Part 1. And in this section, I will quickly introduce what we are doing here in Zenitech around this future technology umbrella. And the main topic today will be about AR/VR technologies. So what is future technology? It's basically also known as research and development, but we have figured out a fancier name for that. And the mission of this future technology umbrella within our company is to bring the latest technologies closer to our partners. We truly believe that it's our responsibility to show our partners, other members of the industry, if they are working in other domains, what kind of things can be achieved nowadays with the latest technologies in an efficient and cost-efficient and good way, which can provide you better projects, how can you accelerate your innovation, and what kind of technologies can give you market advantages. The way how we do is actually we invest a lot in research and development at our company. We have a real tech-focused mindset around technologies, and we are trying to discover those technologies which will have probably a longer lifetime that you can already start using to build new solutions. And basically, we provide a service where we help our partners to discover those technologies that can be beneficial for their businesses. And in order to do that, we have established a roadmap. We have analyzed different technologies. And as a beginning, we are actually working on a lot of things in the background, but as a beginning, we highlighted 3 technologies where we will have this kind of webinars and a little bit focus. We will put a little bit focus there. One is AR and VR. This is what we will talk today. And later we will cover the AI, machine learning, big data, business intelligence kind of technologies and developments. And also we will have a session about future cloud, what it can bring to you. And there are many more that we are working on in parallel. We believe in technology partnerships. Great companies have good solutions, and if we can establish good partnerships, we can bring those technologies closer to companies who work on digitalization projects. We believe in prototype developments that can really show you those things that can be you can actually try things quickly and create a proof of concept whether it's working or not. And you can also enhance IT development technologies if you use one of these technologies. So before we jump into the AR/VR, actually, I would like to have a quick poll, and I would be happy if you could answer this kind of question. The question should appear on your screen. I also have it on my slide. So if for some reason it's not visible, you can see it here. What do you think? What will be the trend in the next years about future technology, which will be used more and more in development projects? So I will wait a little bit, and I would be happy to hear or see your answers. So there are a few things here we have listed: AI, machine learning, future cloud. Oh, there is a typo. It's AR and VR, not FR. Sorry. Actually, it was those who discover it will get a free something for Christmas. So I think we can see the results. I hope you managed to vote. What is the winning from those of you who are watching it in live? My colleague is helping me, and let me see if I can present you the result of the poll. Yes. So many of you have voted to AI and machine learning, and the second one is AR and virtual reality. Then mobile and IoT and future cloud was coming next. So I think we kind of guessed here properly what will be the trends, and we promise that we will give you presentations about these other topics as well. So let's jump into the AR VR a little bit. I would like to give you such an overview about AR VR technologies that will be useful and you don't see easily on other tutorials or marketing slides. So I will really try to focus on real things. First of all, what we have to understand that when we talk about AR and VR, there is a different world where we are using actually when we develop such a project. There is the physical world where we are living now, where we use 3D or 2D applications, and there is this augmented reality or virtual world, and the virtual real world is actually really outside the physical world when you don't sense too much from the physical world. From another perspective, I have created this scale. And on the right side, you will see the physical reality. This is the standard applications, what we are using, a desktop application or a web application when we talk about digital products or software products. And on the other side, there is the virtual reality where the physical reality is totally excluded. We don't feel the things in our head. We don't see screens. Actually, there is a glass covering everything with on our eyes, and we just see and feel the virtual world. There was a funny story. Actually, it's a real story, and there was a Facebook conference where people were given a virtual reality headset, as you can see it, and they were given some content. They could look around and enjoy the content. And in the real world, Mark Zuckerberg was walking around them, and they didn't know about it. So it's also interesting to see that when you are in the virtual world, you don't really experience the physical world. You don't see the physical world. Let's move on this spectrum a little bit. So we have, we all know the physical reality, the physical world, the 2D applications, websites, that's fine. One step to the virtual reality is the I would say, simple augmented reality solutions, where you can use a mobile phone simply, and through the camera of the phone, you can see different digital contents. Through the camera, you can see, as I mentioned, the real world, and you can display extra contents to your customers, like 3D objects, captions, real-time translations, or small videos embedded into the physical world. It's very good because you don't need a special hardware, just a mobile phone, and everyone has a mobile phone nowadays. And it's very cost efficient because, again, you don't need to spend the extra money for a virtual thing. And another big advantage is that everyone has it. So you don't need to convince your partners or customers to buy a headset because everyone has a mobile phone and it is available there. Just a few examples, like furniture design applications. You can have you can look around your camera and you can place the selected furnitures in your rooms, and basically you will see how they would look like, how the new sofa will look like, and so on. So it's a funny thing. You can also use it in a try a glass, for example, how this glass would look like on my head, and you can try clothes as well. There are many applications, and they are becoming better and better. Actually, I have seen very good applications where you can try your clothes, your t-shirts, and it looks amazing and helps you with the digital thing. And the other stuff is when you use the location information of the phone, you look around the camera and it will show you some content. We have actually created such an application. We have a product called Valid. It's a white box application in the finance sector to provide payment services for partners. And actually this already has an AR/VR solution, AR solution, where you can look around and important things can appear on the screen. You can set the range. Let's look at a restaurant within 300 meters, and it will show you where you can go. Another thing important to mention, that if you want to have such an application like AR in your mobile device, it's actually very easy to do that. Nowadays, both Android and iOS provides very good SDKs, toolkits, that makes the development work much easier. So within a few days, we can create great solutions based on this technology. On iOS, for example, they made available a nice measuring technique. So we don't need to write too complex algorithms, but you can, for example, measure the physical size of something based on the image processing, and it can detect areas. So it can be used to design some kind of furniture, type of applications, or in anywhere it can be used where you need to measure some things. And Apple gives us as a nice SDK, part of the SDK, so we can build applications around that. The next level after this simple augmented reality is the advanced augmented reality. It's when you don't use the phone anymore. Instead, you use a kind of a headset. HoloLens was the first device, but there are many other devices out there. It gives you a much wider viewing angle than the phone, because on the phone you can just see this part of the screen basically, but if you put a headset, it gives you a much wider viewing area. And I just wanted to give you a little bit feeling, but I have some videos as well that shows you how you can use it. Basically, you see the real world and some windows, some charts are appearing, and you can use your hand to navigate between these virtual things and move items around and so on. So let me show a quick video about it. I will not show the full video, just to give you a feeling that, for example, when you turn your hand, it will actually be like a right click and the side menu opens. It opens a new window, or it can open a new window. You can just move it somewhere. So it's really good and easy to use to place some kind of controls, what we got used to in the two-dimensional world. Actually, we can use it in this 3D world with augmented reality techniques. And you can place much more content around you. Okay, there are many augmented reality devices out there. They are becoming actually cheaper and cheaper. Just to mention a few parameters about the HoloLens 2, for example, it has a stereo speaker, it has 5 microphones. So basically you can also talk to such applications when you are in the virtual world. You can use your voice and give commands, and that can also help you, and you don't need to use your hand gestures all the time. These devices, it's very important to mention that these devices are standalone devices. So you don't need an extra computer, a big computer in the background with a graphics card. They work in a standalone mode. For example, the HoloLens is running a nice Windows, and you can use basic operating system features as well, and of course applications designed for this AR environment. It gives you a transparent screen, 2 stereo displays with a quite good resolution, so you can create nice applications around it. But also other manufacturers like Lenovo, they are also creating a very great device. And these devices will be more and more available to everyone, and they are becoming cheaper and cheaper. There was an interesting technology, the Google Glass as well. It's a little bit different approach because you have only one display on one of your eyes, left or right eye. It's more like a head-up display, so you cannot see such big contents. You can just basically see small informations like which direction you want to navigate, or a basic language translation and so on. It's also a good concept actually, but doesn't know as much as other AR solutions. Okay, let's move on. The next step between the real virtual reality and the augmented reality is this augmented virtuality, where you have much advanced glasses. Maybe we can even call them as VR, AR helmets. They gives you a larger viewing area, an even larger viewing area, and you will see less in the physical world and you will live more in the virtual world. And the last step in this mixed reality spectrum is the virtual reality, when you actually don't see anything in the physical world, you just see the virtual world, and you have a much wider area to place digital contents. And as I mentioned, you don't see anything in the physical world. That's why the digital content is basically everywhere. The simple approach of this virtual reality was the so-called mobile device aided virtual reality solution, where you have these glasses and you basically put the phone there, and the screen of the phone is divided into 2 parts, and you see 2 different things with your 2 eyes, and it gives you a 3D experience basically. There was a time when, for example, Google was giving around these cardboards. These are I will try to show it like this. So these are small virtual reality things. You can place your phone here, but it was very a basic one. There were better ones as well, but actually the real virtual reality solutions start when you have a dedicated headset, like what we can already use in Sony PlayStation for great games. They are actually very good games. but other manufacturers, Lenovo, Oculus, Windows, they are all creating better and better virtual reality solutions. Typically, these devices need an extra computer because they really use the graphics card. They give you a much different experience than the augmented reality. You can have a full 3D world around you. That's why it needs great performance, but it's really great. So it's very fast and very smooth. You should try it. Actually, to be honest, I'm in a very hard position because telling about the virtual reality and VR solutions through a presentation is not easy. I can tell you that it will change your mind only when you really try a device. That's how I get loving the first time when I tried such a device by myself, through different applications. Just to give you a feeling, when you use a virtual reality application, basically, yeah, you put on the glasses, and when you put on the glass, you will live in the virtual world. Nothing in the physical world exists around you, and you can use different controllers and draw some things or place 3D objects somewhere, design a cloth. So it's actually good for work as well. And you don't have limits, basically. That's how I would say that the limit is much less. For example, Google has this nice application for drawing, as you can see. So it's really a great experience. And the funny thing is that the big companies who give VR technologies to us, they already give us very good software development kits, so we can very easily create applications in such environments. Okay, when you design an application in a VR environment, you have to know that what can people use and what can people do when they use such an application. When we design a website or a mobile application, we know that we have a mouse, we have a keyboard, the users will have it as well. They can click on buttons and so on. In a VR environment, it's a little bit different. We have to be aware that these helmets, they have a lot of sensors. We can track the movement of the users, where they are doing, and so on. Sometimes the users are holding some things in their head. That's why we can monitor their hand movements as well. But the better VR technologies, they can follow your hands. You don't need to hold any things in your head. They can follow your fingers, your fingertip movements, and all these kind of things. Another thing is that when we put on the helmet, actually, how do we use that helmet? Are we just sitting in a desk and we are just looking our head around, or do we stand up and we are really walking in a room? Or is it not limited even in a room? You can go outside in the big world and walk everywhere in the VR world. So it's about limits of movement, or on unlimited movement is even possible. So just to give you a little bit feeling of your head. So this is the kind of the desk mode when you sit in the desk and you can just look around with your head. But if you can stand up, if it's the solution allows you, then basically it can be monitored where you are moving. Typically, there are external sensors available that can exactly tell where the user is walking in a specific area. But the even better VR solutions, if it's needed, is it when you can live in the world scale and you can fully walk around and it can detect where you are walking and so on. It also opens other possibilities. All of this has to be considered when you design an application. So when you design an AR VR application, the question is not that what should be the background color, or should I run it on Android or iOS devices? The question is that should it be a desk scale, a world scale, or a room scale, or what kind of controls do we want to use or give to the users, and so on. There are also some typical interaction elements that we can use in an AR VR application. Traditionally, we don't have these traditional keyboard and mouses, but actually, if you use a mouse, you can still hold it in your hand and move it around. That can be channeled into the VR application if needed, but typically we use some special controllers, or we use head tracking, eye tracking, or hand tracking. These virtual glasses, they have a camera that look my eyeballs as well and where I am looking, so it can also be used. And the voice control, in Android, iOS, Google Assistant, Siri, all these kind of things, this technology is available in the VR environment as well, and we can use it to control the application. So let me show you just a few examples. As I already showed this, when you rotate your hand, It can be as a right-click event. It can open a new window. You can click things with this simple clickings. You can drag and drop things and place to other locations. And it's working actually better and better, so you can control complex applications with that. This other example, this example, I forget to mention that it's augmented reality, because you see the physical world, you can see the chairs in the background and so on. This other demo, it's just demonstrate that it fully works in the virtual world as well. The only difference is that you don't see your real hand. Instead, you see a virtual hand, but you can do the same things, move objects, change objects, and all these kind of things are available. And for development point of view, you can very easily create such interactions and handle those events, like even scrolling and all these kind of things. They work smoothly and nicely in a VR applications as well. Just an example, if you create a designing application, for example, a tourist application, you can place a map in the virtual environment, and you can do things on the map, zoom into the map, move the map to other locations. You can place even markers on a map. So same like in a web application, you can do most of these things in a VR application as well, and it gives you a much different experience. And now it's time to tell about some real applications, what we have seen. I will not mention those fancy marketing applications that you can see in most of the slides. I will mention some use cases or scenarios what we have developed in the past. One is that to use the AR/VR technology in constructions and monitoring. So most people think that AR/VR is typically used to design something, design a building, design a clothes, or design some kind of stuff. But actually, it can be used even after that. For example, if you have a electricity network, or if you have a bridge, you can place sensors. They are already there. They give you real-time information, for example, how the weight is and the pressure is changing when cars are driving on the bridge. And if you put on the virtual headset, you can see these values in real time and 3D model in real time, how it's changing, for example, if it's about a bridge. Or you can see the virtually the object what you have designed which is running live. Let me show you a quick video about it. This is one of our applications in constructions and monitoring industry. You have a simple bridge. There are sensors on the bridge, and actually we want to see this data in real time. We can look around the 3D object, obviously, and we can have some controls. We can open a window. This window is showing us different data coming real time from the sensors, because it's connected to real time data interface. And you can actually place these things as you wish. You can open more windows, so you can really use the virtual room around you to see more digital contents at the same time. And you don't need to buy 3 monitors or 5 monitors to see everything. You can just do this through an AR/VR environment, and it can very open the things in a 3D environment for you. You can put the windows behind each other, front of each other. So it actually gives a much different feeling, and it's really good actually. And obviously you can control the items and so on. That was one demo. Let me show another one. It's for the manufacturing industry. For example, if car manufacturers or other kind of manufacturers, they have created an object like a car, and you can walk around with the virtual headset and do some quality checking. For example, like there is an issue with the painting, you can highlight it exactly in the 3D object that it's on that door, and it will be matched to the physical car that it's on the right door, top of the right door, and it's kind of marked that the painting should be repaired there, or something should be replaced there, or those kind of things. So it can be used in manufacturing industry well, or it can be used in the training industry as well. So nowadays, everything is developing so rapidly. It's very hard to give physical trainings to everyone all the time. You need the time of the lecturers and space for the rooms and so on. But with VR technology, all the tutorials can be programmed and sent to the new members of the company, and through a VR or AR headset they can very easily practice the different things. and they don't need that much practicing hours, and you don't need to organize always big practicing events to your employees. But again, it's for trainings and tutorials, it's extremely good. Just for fun, we have created a nice project. I hope you know the Rubik Cube. It's a very universal game. It was invented in Hungary by Ernest Rubik, and we have created a Rubik Cube solver application. Based on the camera, it sees the colors on the cube, and it gives you advices how to rotate the cube to solve it. Actually, you can compete with others and so on. So it's a fun thing as well. And it can be used in other environments. This other application, what we have created, we name it as HoloMonit. It's actually if you have a building, an office building, a mall building, supermarket, whatever, all the cables, the pipes in the walls, they are usually stored, hopefully, especially in modern solutions in some database. And based on that database, when you put on the VR headset or an AR headset or just the mobile phone, you can see the real location of the pipes and wires or any kind of things that helps you to do some repairs or add some extra lightings to the buildings, because you see where the cables are running. Another thing that we defined is called Holo Assist. Basically, it's just a fun thing, but when you enter into a huge building, you don't need a real person to escort you to the right floor and right door where you can find a person or a shop or something like that. You can either use your mobile phone or a cheap AR headset, and somebody, a virtual assistant, will guide you to the room what you are looking for. And it can also open other possibilities for us. And we have some projects in the healthcare and engineering industry. I cannot share those screenshots because it's under NDA, but it's actually really used in healthcare and industry sector in different purposes to adjust some medical operation or something like that, or for training as well. So it's really useful. I guess my last example is it's from the energy sector. When we are not inside a building, we are outside in a city or somewhere, and we need to do some repairs. We need to see where are the pipes and cables running under the ground. We can use an AR technology, which is connected to a database, and it will virtually present us the location of different objects under the ground, and we know where to start digging or where not to start digging to avoid any issues. And of course, AR, VR can be used in games as well. We have played around with some games, so it also opens a lot of possibilities. And the reason why I'm telling this is that everyone thinks that it's an expensive development and so on. It doesn't worth to invest in that, but actually it's not true. Nowadays, this technology, it's very cheap actually. I mean that the development is not expensive, not more expensive than developing a website, because we have the same SDKs. We can use the well-known programming languages like C#, Java, Python, and all these kind of things. And the manufacturers who give us the AR, VR headsets, they already opened those interfaces that can accept custom softwares very easily. Okay, and because we are talking about AR, VR, it's always important to mention that a new platform is coming from Meta, from Facebook. Everyone is kind of talking about it, this metaverse. I think actually it will be a great platform, and it's not just an environment where we can do social interactions. It can be a platform where custom applications can be executed. For example, nowadays in the COVID, everyone is working more or less remotely. You have online meetings, I guess, all the times during the day, but everyone is seeing each other just through the camera. But if you think about virtual reality, you will see your partners around the virtual table. You will see their gestures. It will give you a much different experience. And because of the virtual world, actually, this is the huge advantage that you can put digital contents around you. You can look around, there is a chart behind you, there is another important presentation on the left side, and you can still see your partners who you are talking with. So it's not like when you share your screen, you don't see anyone else who is talking, who you are talking with. In this case, it will give you a different feeling. And there are already, if you think about use cases, there are already many great use cases for this platform. Like you can use it in the tourism, entertainment sector, gaming, esports sector, or even it can be used in the banking and finance. Like you don't need to go into a physical bank, but you can still talk to somebody and you can still see your charts, your investments, and you can calculate many things through there. So it's kind of a great opportunity. Yeah, and our recommendation is that actually I think it's time to start thinking about AR, VR. It can be really useful in many industry. And when you think about how can I use it in my business, we would recommend these 6 steps to take and give a chance to it. The first step is obviously to understand the business requirements. Through consultancy, you can talk with your partners and your possible customers. Would you use it? How would you use it? Should we start it simply with a mobile AR solution, or does it worth to give one VR headset to our partners, for example, if they are working in such an environment? So it can be really useful. Then you should understand more the business relevance of the solution. Like, does it give anything else to my company? If you are in the manufacturing industry, I'm pretty sure that it will give you, but in any other industries, in the entertainment sector or anywhere else, it can give you huge advantages. Or you can also start thinking about, should I start with a mobile or an AR or VR solution? Who are the key actors? Is it for a special users, not for everyone, not to all of my customers, only for the key members? Or if I'm running a modern digital shop, should I give a possibility to my partners to try my clothes that I am selling? Or if I am selling cars, should I give a solution to my customers that, hey, put on a headset and let's sit virtually in the car, you will see the controls. It's a much different experience than just looking at the pictures of a car. Or if you are in the, I don't know, real estate industry or anywhere else, it can give you huge benefits. So we recommend to read these steps, think about the possibilities, what you can achieve with that, and we are also here to give you advices. And once the solution was developed, it's worth to try it and collect some data. What is the feedback from the users? What is the overall opinion? And it can lead to great digital solutions. We believe in that. That was all my presentation. I tried to keep my 30 minutes as it was promised. And I would be happy to hear or see any questions if you can send it to us. And we hope that you have enjoyed the presentation. And thank you very much for listening us. Yeah, please send us questions. You can use the Zoom controls to send questions. There's a Q&A button where you can send questions. I see some questions in the Q&A section. Let me read them and try to answer them. So, do we know when the VR headsets will go wireless? Excellent question. I think they will become wireless soon. The reason why I dare to answer this is because if you think about the gaming sector, like Xbox, other things, PlayStation and so on, there are a lot of game streaming solutions, and they are actually available on smart TVs as well. So you don't need to buy, for example, an a game device, PlayStation, Xbox, or something like that, you can stream the games through the computer. And in the virtual environment, it's the same. You just need a headset, and if there is something in the cloud which can stream you the virtual content, then it can be available, and I think it's coming. So I would give, if I need to say something, 1 or 2 years. Let's see. Another question was that how do we plan to use AR VR for software developers in their own work? Wow, excellent question. So if there is a software company, software developer company like us or other similar companies, can AR VR actually be used in development? Like, can a developer put on a virtual headset and do the programming? Actually, it's possible. So nowadays, when you put a virtual headset, you can open a window, you can see your development environment, Visual Studio, Android Studio, whatever, and you can type if you feel the fingers, and you can do blind typing. So it's actually working. When it gives you real advantages, I think it's when you try the applications and you need to see multiple windows in the same location, then it can help your work. But I promise that I will think about other use cases, because it's an excellent question, and it already opens some ideas. Let me see what we can come up. Which industries are you seeing the most use cases right now? Well, I see in the logistics sector, logistics where you have big stores, you don't want to walk around physically, it's a lot of time, and you need a lot of workers, people to walk around in the logistics sector. You can just fly around with a drone, and you can just sit in your office, and with the different cameras, you can see it in the virtual environment, what is in the physical store. Or it can be good to design some routes on a map if you need a wider angle. So the logistics sector is definitely one. Another one is entertainment sector. Obviously, the games are already here, and people like it very much. But I can actually imagine it in the finance sector, remote banking as well, and other locations. Tourism, for example. Tourism definitely is interesting. You don't need to physically go somewhere, but you can almost have a same experience. Obviously not the same, it's different, feeling the and smelling the things and so on, but it's already can be good just to explore how it would look like. And maybe that helps you to decide, okay, well, through the VR environment, the pyramids looks great, I should travel there physically because I like it. So it's, yeah, I can imagine some things. What are the most popular developer software to create VR, AR applications? Well, I would say that Unity is definitely one platform that VR developers like. So you can use the well-known C# language. Unity is a good framework, so you can do that. But there are other as well, the Unreal Engine, where you can obviously you can use always low-level C, C++, OpenGL, and those kind of things to develop applications. But if you just need a standard Windows and 2D graphics in a virtual environment, then you can use almost any programming language, at least the popular ones. Okay, I don't see any other questions that I haven't answered. So I think that was all. Any other questions, maybe? If no, then thank you very much. Thank you for these great questions. I hope you have enjoyed it, and we are coming back soon with the next episode in this Future Technology webinar. Thank you very much. Have a great day, and have a great Christmas. Thank you.